Hi folks, this is Dragon. This is a video on growing vegetables. Waveman put a very good post on the forum about 3 or 4 days ago. It was a YouTube on one guy somewhere, I presume in North America, survivalist, about growing veggies in little patches out in the bush or in the forest or the woods, as compared to high profile veggie gardens, which can attract a lot of unwanted attention during food shortages. In response to that post, I put that we had tried the same thing over the last 2 or 3 years, and just to show you what we've done, in our yard here we've got a bit of a bushy bit down the front. So what I did a couple of years ago was got some potatoes out of the kitchen and were starting to sprout, and just put them in the ground here. They're growing quite well. We haven't actually harvested any, we just put them in, let them do their thing, see if they grow, and it gives us a good idea what can grow in this area here with very little in the way of human resources or any other resource that need to grow. So that's a white potato plant. There's another one. Now these have been in here for about 2 years. As I said, we haven't harvested them, we just want to see if they'll grow with very little maintenance or resources. I'll just pan around over this way. We planted some lavender. Just put it in the ground and let it do its own thing. And as you can see, it's doing quite well. We haven't watered it, we haven't fertilised it. It does have medicinal properties. One of many herbs we planted in the area. Unfortunately, with the last wet season was too wet and we lost a lot of them due to too much ground moisture. So that's something to take into consideration too. Over this way we've got what we call here in Queensland a Monstera deliceo. It's a plant that grows very well, provides a fruit. To see if I can get in here, there's a couple on this one actually. You can just see that one there. Okay, it's very nutritious fruit. When they're ready to pick, this one's still got a way to go yet. Bit like avocados, you pick them a little bit green, almost to the point where they're ready to pick, and then you, with these particular fruit, put them in a brown paper bag and they ripen up quite nicely. Quite a nice fruit actually. But again, this is another plant we just threw in the garden, in the bushy bit, just to see how well it survived. Now we get pretty cold winters here, or we used to anyway. But because we've got other trees around here, it protected it quite well from frost and so on. We'll just move around the garden a bit, or the bush. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of privet in here too. Now I believe from some of the research I've done, they do make very good arrows and quite good bows too. Controversially, some say that they do have medicinal uses. I've looked on other websites and say that they're toxic, so that's a very controversial issue at the moment. Again, here's another lot of potatoes we just threw on the ground just to see if they grow, let them do their own thing. We haven't watered them or fertilised them or anything like that. There's another one there, there's another bunch over here. just follow me around. Here's some more here that I threw in the ground a couple of years ago. We've had quite a bit of rain over the last couple of months ago, so they're really thriving. Of course they die back in the off season, and they grow back again when their growing conditions are right. But this is what it's about, folk, what that guy was talking about. Now, to any normal person, or should I rephrase normal, you come across this in the bush, and growing with the rest of the weeds around here, it just looks like a bunch of weeds. So most people wouldn't even know these are potatoes. Another lot here, just thrown in the ground, and they've just done their own thing. In the background there, I'll see if I can focus in it, that's just a bunch of weeds, but they're growing beside a bunch of weeds, so for most people they probably wouldn't even recognise they're potatoes. And this one over here, I don't know where this one came from, I didn't plant it, it's a ring in. It looks like a pumpkin or a squash plant. It's only come up in the last month or so. So the other thing is that, you know, in the bush you're probably going to find some vegetables and stuff growing from seeds that have been dropped by birds or other predators. So we'll see what this plant is over the next month or so. Looks very much to me like a pumpkin or a squash. I certainly didn't plant it there. I dare say a bird dropped the seed and up she's come. More potatoes here. So what the guy was saying in that video is it is a valid point. You're going to have to do your own risk assessment on establishing gardens. There's some more potatoes there I threw on the ground. These ones here have been in here just over 2 years actually. So they grow quite well on their own, using minimal human resources and other resources too. But as I said, you're going to have to do your own risk assessment. The area you live in, whether it's an urban area or out at your retreat, established gardens, yes, they will attract unwanted attention, particularly when food is short. But there are pros and cons. Doing it this way can be hit and miss. Can get predators that get in and clean them up. Certainly seasonal conditions affect them. So, you know, you've got to do your own risk assessment on it. For a family of 2 here, just myself and Mrs. Dragon, what we've got growing here at the moment is not sustainable for us. We'd have to plant more. Now, whether we do it this way, certainly we'd have to build it up a bit to get more potato crop going, or do an established garden is something that you know, we've got to think about too, even though we live in a rural area. And there's a dirt road running right by our place, so virtually it's in the front yard. It's the best part of the yard to plant stuff, but anybody walking or driving down that road is well, it's going to stick out like a neon sign. So it's up to you folks. It's a risk assessment. Certainly established gardens, as far as human resources go, require a lot less. It's all in one area. But as the guy said, it's like a neon sign, so you're really going to have to work out, depending where you live or where your retreat is, you know, what you're going to do. And bear in mind that when you're walking through the bush, as I said, you know, that plant over there that looks like a pumpkin or a squash plant, you may find these growing too, with you know, seeds dropped by birds and other predators. Certainly along the highways around here, a lot of stone fruit grown in this area, peaches, apricots, that sort of thing, and there's a lot of wild stuff growing in the bush from seeds either dropped by birds or people chucking the seeds out the car window. So that's about it, folks. He does make a valid point, but you've got to do your own risk assessment. Food sustainability is one of the top 5 priorities in a survival situation, but you've got to be able to sustainably grow it, and in some cases, depending on what your situation is and where you are, you've got to be able to defend it not only from predators but from people too. So anyway, this is what we've done. As I commented on that post, we've been doing it for about 2 or 3 years, and it does quite well, as that guy said, the way he does it. So something for you to think about, folks. Thanks very much.